watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television. This is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
Good Sunday morning and welcome into The Sports Source. Happy to have you with us. The SEC meetings were this week down in Destin, Florida. We're going to run through a lot of the changes, a lot of the stances made by the SEC's leaders, and specifically we're going to talk about how they impact or might impact Tennessee moving forward. Should be an interesting show today. Let's get right into it. First segment brought to you by my friend Phil Cobble and Phil Cobble Fine Homes and Land. Folks, when you're looking for a realtor, you want someone who'll stay in touch with you. Phil does that. You want updates, you're going to get them. You want someone with a proven track record, try $300 million in property sold. You want over and above service, like an interior designer to help stage your open house. That's all Phil Cobble Fine Homes and Land. When you are looking for a special boutique realtor to really help you find the right home or move the home that you're currently in, nobody better than Phil Cobble Fine Homes and Land. Also, want to show you what's coming up on today's show. Let's break this down. Life without Slive. Mike Slive steps down early. Greg Sankey is your new SEC commissioner. What impact will that have on the league? The conference handing out record dollars this week. What impact will that be on Tennessee? They've changed the basketball schedule again. They do this about every year now. We'll look at that. We'll take a look at some of the hot button issues from Destin. Tennessee's reserve fund. There's a lot more money coming in. When will we stop hearing about the tiny, tiny reserve fund? Athlon has made some Tennessee football picks. Were they too kind to the Vols? What's the best program at UT right now? And we'll talk a little bit about Thanksgiving. A little question there. I want to welcome in the rest of the cast of characters today. I like it when we mix things up, and we got a mixed up group here today. And I'm not just talking about me and Chuck. Yeah. John Wilkerson, glad to have you. I'm just going to tell her, from Sports Radio WNML, we have the whole team here. We got John Wilkerson, we have Vince Ferrara, we have Josh Ward, and down there from Southern Golf Central, we have Chuck Cavaliers.
I guess I'm sitting in for Will West, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, guys, everyone knew that Mike Slive was going to be stepping down. He's battling prostate cancer that's come back on him, but he's decided to step down even earlier than planned. Greg Sankey is your new commissioner. Greg Sankey has a good reputation in NCAA circles. He's been a valuable member of Slive's team in the Southeastern Conference. But it has been a prosperous time under the leadership of Mike Slive. Nobody likes a commissioner, and I understand that. This guy was good, really good in a lot of different areas. Is there a reason for concern for SEC fans, SEC schools right now with Mike Slive stepping away?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't even think it really impacts the fans as much as it does the program. I mean,
I think that's how it impacts the fans, though.
But I mean, the average fan, I don't think so. And I was thinking, John, going back, when did you start this show?
2003.
Okay, and that's right after Mike Slive took over as SEC commissioner. I think I remember us talking when Roy Kramer was leaving. How is this guy going to do that they're bringing in from New Hampshire? And look at how that's turned out. So, no, I mean, for the fans, I don't think it really matters.
Are you giving Mike Slive credit for John's success on his
Well, here's what let me clarify what I'm saying by the fans. I know they're not sitting there going, I hate that Slive's gone. But in terms of will the SEC just keep rolling along, Kramer took it here, okay? Then you had Slive take it here. Are they going to continue to move forward? Can Sankey do that? That's the question. And if he can't, that's where it impacts fans. So it's not so much are they weeping and wailing today. I doubt it. But could it impact them long term?
A lot of the big moves have already been made. I mean, you had an expansion from 12 to 14. You've already had the Power 5 conferences kind of separate themselves from the rest of Division I. I mean, so much of this is already on track. I think it's much easier to take over the wheel as opposed to forging a new path.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's no way that he's going to be able to accomplish the things that Mike Slive did. The revenue sharing, he's got the SEC network already up and rolling. There are some issues on the table. However, he was there every step of the way with Mike Slive. Those entire 13 years, Greg Sankey was there. And if Mike Slive endorses him, I think that means a lot. Plus, when they had the autonomy meetings, they had the Power 5 conference commissioners in a room, there was one other person there. It was Greg Sankey. So I think he's been there and he's been important through the success during Slive's era. I think it's a great hire.
Yeah, from the fan side, I would say there's probably just some hesitation because when Mike Slive would speak, fans would expect that what he said mattered and was impactful. It's probably natural for fans to wonder if that's the case. But from the NCAA side, I think there's already a great level of respect when Greg Sankey walks in the room.
And John, it might impact the fans if your programs go back to being on probation like it was when Mike Slive took over. I mean, that was like coaches were turning in other schools in the SEC. Your two most storied programs in league history, Kentucky basketball, Alabama football, they were both on probation. And that was the first thing Mike Slive, I think, did was say, hey, no more turning each other in. So, but if you do revert back to some of that, that's when I think it could impact the fans.
Let me show you a quote here that Greg Sankey made this week in talking about what he's taking over now versus what his predecessors took over. The pace is quicker, the visibility is quicker, the finances are greater, external issues are much more front page. Both Roy Kramer and Mike Slive took a conference that was regional in nature, made it into a national entity. That brings a whole new set of issues into play. I think you guys are right that they have picked the right person. I think clearly he checks all the boxes. There have been a lot of guys who've replaced successful coaches that were their top assistants that checked all the boxes and it didn't work. It's happened a lot. So in my view, I think there is reason for concern. Anytime you have a guy that was as successful as Mike Slive and he leaves, I think you have to have question marks, don't you? Some?
Well, as elite as Mike Slive was at being a commissioner, sure, I think you're going to naturally have a drop-off regardless of who's in that position. But to have a guy that already understands the principles that Mike Slive put together and starting this from that starting point and improving it, I mean, look at the diversity as well. Under Mike Slive, Sly Kroom became the first African-American coach in football. And then now he's had 25 hires since then. There's a lot of those obstacles that were there for Mike Slive before that aren't there for Greg Sankey.
It's obviously a very critical time for college athletics as well, with athletes and pay, and I know we're going to get into some of that as well, but that's a very changing time. That's a lot that Greg Sankey will be asked to deal with.
Mike Slive has also been a real big, loud by being quiet, leader in the NCAA circles. I mean, he's the guy in the room that sits back and then comes in at the end and builds consensus. Sankey's very well respected, but as the new guy on the block, will he have as much influence on the NCAA and rival conferences as Mike Slive has had? I think all of that is legitimate in terms of questioning where the league goes. We don't know what technology is coming next either, so it's going to be interesting to watch. But when we come back, I want to talk about the money that the SEC made this year. Crazy money. What's it mean for Tennessee? Come on back.
Quality, quick. Trust Fast Frame.